Hello, I'm Jess, and I'm your host for this week's episode of Relation Talks. Today we'll be going over a few random viral tweets that have caused quite the commotion on social media on a couple of platforms. We'll be giving our own opinions today. All over the U.S., hundreds of people have turned to the internet to give their opinion on how they think certain things should go in a relationship. To get a male and female point of view today, we have Dante Fuller and Sierra Wade. How are you guys doing today?
I'm great, and yourself?
I'm doing good. And yourself?
I'm doing really well, thank you. Most of these opinions came from Generation Z versus the Millennials, with a couple of opinions from the baby boomers. A bit later, we'll have a school teacher who's dealt with at least two of these generations and get her take on how others receive things differently. Let's hop right into things. I'm under the impression you both are in a relationship, right?
Yeah.
Yes, that's correct.
Great, so we can get two different perspectives from a couple. Okay, the first tweet, at Kevin Hart for Real asks, is love earned or given? I believe that it has to be given. How do you guys feel about it and why?
I believe love is earned. I believe you gotta show different ways that you love a person. And even then, like, sometimes people mess up. And I believe even if you mess up, you can always find a way and, like, show a person you love them. Even if you do, make mistakes, I believe you still can love a person even though you make a mistake.
Absolutely, absolutely.
I believe it's both. I believe initially it's given, and then to maintain that love, you have to earn it. You're always gonna have trials and tribulations. It's just up to you and your partner to work through it and find yourselves in each other.
Absolutely, nice. Well, our next tweet, at Vivian Rora, says, marry men. If the DNA confirms the baby is not yours, it doesn't change the fact that you have to take responsibility for that baby. She then goes on to say, when a married man impregnates a woman outside of his marriage, the wife is told to forgive and endure. Every gender should be treated fairly. How do you feel about that?
I believe in forgiving, but I also believe that if a man, steps out of his relationship or whatever, and he gets someone pregnant, and it's still, his responsibility to take care of, his kid, and if the woman he's dealing with choose not to still deal with me, then, that's her decision.
Absolutely. How do you feel, Sierra?
I feel like it's definitely a double standard. I feel like women, we compromise a lot in relationships and love, and we get lost in it.
Definitely.
And I just feel if the love is there and is strong, and you guys want to be a family, that's just an additional person to the family. We just got to come with a understanding with the other parent, and just to let them know that there's no ill feelings or anything. Just make everybody feel comfortable, because at the end of the day, those will be your kids or my kids' siblings. So I have to acknowledge that child in any way, shape, or form.
No, absolutely. Me personally, I feel like, when it comes to marriage, like I said, marriages are tricky. They have numerous stages, and so, depending on what stage you are in it, I feel that the response is definitely different. If you are in a newer stage of your marriage and said woman has a child on a man, it could question her loyalty in her marriage. But, years into a relationship, if a man has a woman on a child, it questions his contentment. And so, depending on where you are, depends on how you guys are going to handle the situation. But like you said, as long as there's understanding in it, I personally think that, it can be, any situation can be handled, and maturely. It's just kind of knowing that you have to handle it maturely for the child, because it's a tricky situation. So
that being said, some situations, a lot of women are questioning, well, why did he have to go outside of the relationship? And I feel like, who knows? Like, that's just the other person. So accountability on the person who actually did the action or stepped out needs to be held.
I never thought about accountability. That is a great topic, absolutely. Okay, our next tweet from the Shade Room says, if the male is paying all the bills and being a full provider, the least a wife can do is get him his socks and long johns and underwear, etc. But the wife feels that, you know, he's the full provider, so he should be responsible for those things as well. How do you feel about that?
I have a lot of pride, so I feel I feel like a man should, you know, take care of himself. Me myself, you know, sometimes if I struggle, I don't ask for help. I try to do things on my own, and you know, if I need help, then you know, I'll try. But for the most part, I try to take care of things myself. Yeah.
You feel the full provider is providing everything?
Yeah, I don't know. I just feel like a woman, me personally, I feel like a woman shouldn't provide, you know, for me.
Absolutely. How do you feel, Sierra?
I feel as what's the question again?
What pride? No.
I forgot the question.
Oh no, it was if
Okay, I remember now. Okay, sorry. I feel like it shouldn't be like added to the wife's checklist. I feel like, you know, if you run into the store and you see that, okay, his socks is a little worn and stuff like that, yes, it would be caring to do so, but I don't feel like it should be demanded or expected, because store runs are for everybody, you know? And at the end of the day, if he comes home from a long day of work, he's not expected to, you know, clean up the whole house when he gets home. It's done. So I'm not saying that a woman should take it on, but at least acknowledge it. And little stuff that you do for your partner, that helps. Like, if I come home from work, I would like a bath, you know, made for me. So you come home from work and see, you know, long johns and stuff and it's cold, you appreciate it depending on your occupation.
Absolutely. Me personally, I would say as far as the distribution of tasks, if you take on the role as full provider, you know, you then have to, you know, stipulate what you are assuming as full provider, because, you know, if you say you're full provider, then ultimately I'm expecting you to provide everything, and it isn't out of inconsideration that I don't. It's just that these are the expectations of which, you know, you've given us now. So you provide everything, and so I think he's coming from more of a, hey, you're not being considerate of me. You know, if I get all of this, why wouldn't you at least tend to my small things? As to where his cry isn't necessarily that she's not doing it. His cry is that he's not appreciated. I do everything. The least you can do is these small things. And so, you know, when it comes to roles, if I'm gonna be the full provider, I want you to be the nurturer. I want you to care, and I want you to love, and you know, and so that's really what he's saying. Is like, you can give me socks or underwear, you know, the gifts and, you know, the small things. And so I feel like in a relationship, when it comes to displaying power, because that's ultimately what it is. I'm the full provider. You know, when it comes to power displays, you also have to understand that when you are being the distributor of power, or, you know, the receiver, because either you're distributing it or you're receiving it, but however you play it, you also have to understand that with power comes responsibility, you know, and so if you are the one giving the power, you also have to know that you are responsible for upkeeping this power. And so, you know, relationships are definitely tricky.
Yeah.
They
There we
tricky.
are. Yes.
Absolutely. Sorry. So our Zoom chat is ready. We're going to talk to the teacher, Ms. Smith, that I mentioned earlier, and let's get her view on how people handle situations differently.
All right.
Hey, how you guys doing today? It's Samantha. I'm coming to you live from my office.
We're fine. Thank you so much.
That's good to hear. I'm doing well.
It's great
Thanks
to
for
have
asking.
you. It's great to have you.
Glad to be here today. So today I'm going to give my perspective on the importance of listening to both sides of an argument. perspective taking is a very important and valuable skill in life and leadership.
Absolutely.
It's important to listen to both sides of an argument, as there may be facts and points raised which were not to your knowledge before. When it comes to arguments I'm passionate about, my automatic reaction in the face of the opposition is to flee.
Definitely.
The opposing side of an argument can be very uncomfortable, especially if it's one that, you know, you personally is touched by. Usually, we're biased people. I'm biased, you biased, that's just something that we have. It is really important to listen to the arguments when there is an argument raised. A lot of times people listen to the opposing side to just hear a keyword to where it already triggered in them and they already know what they're gonna respond back. And then when they respond back, it's like a response in an offensive way, just due to the fact that they didn't listen to what the person were saying. They were just listening to that keyword to respond. So it's important to listen to the argument so you'll know how to respond.
Definitely. Thank you for that, Ms. Smith. Absolutely. I absolutely agree. So the next question is from the rich cousin. It says, would you rather have love or trust? If you had to choose love or trust to make your relationship work, how would you? Which would you?
That's kind of tricky. I feel like trust, because with trust, love can come along. You can love someone and not trust them, and that's what causes a lot of issues. That's what starts a lot of nagging, arguments.
Absolutely.
And at the end of the day, I would like to trust my partner in anything.
Definitely.
Yeah, I would have to go with trust too. For me, that's a major thing in a relationship. Of course, everyone will want to trust, the person that they're in a relationship with.
Well, I was gonna say 3 for 3, but because you guys all said trust, I'm gonna have to go with love, only because love is unconditional. Well, it's supposed to be. When it comes into a relationship, it is absolutely unconditional. So when the love is unconditional, the condition could be trust. And whether you have trust or not, you have to still be able to love this person. And with the love that you have for this person, you honor them as if you trust them. You honor them as if you could believe everything that they say. And so, you can definitely always have trust, because you necessarily don't need love for a relationship. But then does it make it a relationship? Because if two people just trust each other but have no affection, it's more of a partnership. You guys could be friends, and it could be a friendship, it could be a business bond, but it doesn't necessarily have to contain relations unless there is affection that is worth, saying, hey, the affection that I have for you is more than just a bond. I would like to share this with you. And this means that even though I don't trust you, I may have to believe you. This means that even though, I don't want to believe what you're saying, I may have to, because I love you. And so I'm definitely going to always, I'm the love advocate, but I'm definitely going to say love, because love will teach you trust. Oh, definitely. Love will teach you trust. Love will teach you honor, love will teach you integrity, etc. So, excuse me. Yeah. So, I have a few more. Let's see. The next tweet we have is from I'm Savage 22. It says, is it harder to forgive or forget?
It's easy for me to forgive.
It's harder to forget.
I don't stay mad at things long. I've been through a lot, so I've experienced a lot, and it's a lot that, you know, everybody go through. So I feel like if everybody in the world a lot of people have been through the same thing, then I could be able to, you know, forgive someone for a lot of those same reasons.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I think it's easier to forgive than to forget. That remembering the problem is the problem. You know, people really don't understand how it affects you until you voice your opinion, and a lot of people don't, because they don't feel heard, you know, when they're trying to, you know, voice their opinion. So at the end of the day, I would have to say, yeah, it's harder to forget.
I think personally that it's easier to forgive, of course, because you can say I forgive you. But the act of actually forgiving someone is something that we have a hard time actually honoring. Like, I forgive you so that we can stop fighting. I forgive you so that we can act like this didn't happen. But forgiveness is more of a healing act, and it's like, I forgive you so that we can build from this and move forward. But if I'm forgiving you so that we can end this now, so that we don't have to face it now, we're gonna have to face it later, you know? And so I personally think that it's easy to forgive because, you know, it's the, you know, the act of saying I forgive you to some people registers as forgiveness. And it's like, okay, I forgive you, so now in this forgiveness, should I then forget that you did what you did? You know, and in forgiving you, am I not allowed to say that you did this to me? You know, because that is a thing that, you know, people get confused with. People are afraid to forgive because it means now I can't say that you hurt me in the future. You know, now I have to eat this every time that you do it because, well, if you say you forgive me, then you can't keep throwing the past in my face. And it's like, you know, I'm not throwing the past in your face, but you can't tell me that I have to forget what you did to me because I forgive you. And so when you go into forgiveness, you know, make sure that you understand what you are forgiving and why you are forgiving it, because some situations aren't ready to be forgiven, and that's simply because it's not over. You know, this isn't done when we say, I forgive you today. You know, this is gonna linger. Now I have to trust you. So I can't just say I forgive you today if I won't trust you tomorrow. I have to forgive you. This may take some, you know, this may take time. And so ultimately, I'll never forget. It's now a memory. It's embedded in me. You know, I can't forget the effects that it have on me, but I can try to I can forgive the feelings that I'm having for you for those actions. And that's why they say forgiveness is for self. Because I can't forget that you did what you did, but I can forgive you for giving me these responses. Every time that I see you talking to her, I flip, and I gotta forgive you so that I stop flipping every time you talk to somebody. You know, it's not to end this altercation, it's so that I don't treat you like you are this person, you know, that you are telling me you're not. That is what forgiveness is for. And so that's, sorry, excuse my, sorry, you know, I'll talk, I'm a talker. I do have another one, another tweet from @NotYourBay says, I don't date without a purpose, and I don't date to occupy my time. Being in a relationship won't heal you, and being single won't kill you. Do you believe that people enter relationships to heal broken pieces of themselves?
Me, myself, I haven't been in many relationships, but I don't know. I eventually want to date to marry, but I feel like a person got to have their self together before they enter into like relationships, and I got a lot to work on.
Definitely, and that's a great thing to admit, though.
Yeah.
How did that question end?
It's just, do you believe that people enter relationships to fix themselves? It's just saying, she just
Okay.
basically said she doesn't date randomly and without cause.
Okay, I get it. I don't think, well, I don't know. Some people do jump into another relationship to forget or to not think about the other person, but I don't feel like that's a good choice, because then you're not really letting your feelings out. It's like you still haven't mourned for that person. If it was long or short term, it doesn't matter. You still have to mourn to a certain extent. Some people, well, me personally, I feel like you can definitely start a relationship and work on yourself, because relationships, I think it's a misunderstanding. You really have to have your individuality. So if I can't be with you and work on myself, then why am I with you?
Absolutely.
So at the end of the day, it's just determining the type of person you are and how fast you can move and how fast you can mourn. You're only going to hurt yourself if you put yourself in a different situation and you're in love with someone else, because at the end of the day, that's where infidelity comes in, that's where trust comes in, that's when, different conversations could go left or right, arguments might start. So it's just being real with yourself. Are you ready to entertain someone else, or do you need time to find yourself? Do you need to find some new hobbies, or love yourself?
Absolutely. That was brilliant. Absolutely brilliant.
Oh, thank you.
Oh, look at you falling all in love and stuff. I see you. Can't stop looking at it. Okay, so Shelly Welly, at Shelly Welly tweeted, in a relationship, I think my biggest flaw is that I constantly need to feel loved or I'll automatically assume it's gone. How do you feel about that?
People don't know. There's like 5 different love languages. Some people like gifts, some people like touch, some people like their minds to be finagled with and conversation. So it's really understanding the person that you have. Yes, I like conversation, but somebody else might like touchy. And then that's how you need to figure out, like, who are you really compatible with? Because if I'm not really an affectionate person, now I feel like my partner is clingy, and now I have this undermining, resentment to them, and I don't know why. It's just because I don't communicate with their exact love language, or there's not enough compromise with, or a conversation, setting everything out, like, this is how I like, I like this, or just even paying attention to how people react to different things you do to them. So it's a misunderstanding. It's not only one way to love someone.
Absolutely.
I don't know. I like attention. Yeah, if I feel like if I'm not getting the attention, then I will question, like, if a person is really like into me or if they still love me.
Now, so basically you two are saying kind of similar but opposing things. So if you need attention, right? Now, and you not having knowledge of the different love languages, if you two know that he needs attention, and although you are not the attention giver, because you care about this person, do you then go outside of your comforts to give this person what they feel they need to be reassured, so that they can feel like the love is still here, even if you haven't done anything to make them feel like you don't love them, but you know that they need that consistency? Do you feed it to them?
Yes, if you want to make the relationship stay, you definitely have to show a little bit more attention, but then you have to understand, what kind of attention do you want? Do you want physical touch? Do you want me to, we're doing our own different things on our phones, handling business and stuff like that. Is attention just me being in the same room as you? Is it me constantly talking to you? Is it not able to have like comfortable silence? Like, it's stuff like that, because some people don't like comfortable silence, and they feel like that's
them being ignored.
Yeah, that they're being ignored, and it's not. It's just there's nothing to speak about right now, or I'm thinking about something, or I'm doing something right now. It's no animosity to why I'm being quiet. It's just I'm being quiet.
Absolutely. No, well, that's all we have for today. I will definitely be looking at things a lot different moving forward, and I hope you guys do too.
I will. Thank you. This was fun.